There are things that have been hidden from you, not by accident, not by oversight, but deliberately, purposefully, and with a timing that only God understands. And the reason you are here right now, the reason this message found you today, is because the time for hiding is over. God is ready to show you everything. The truth about who you are, the truth about what you have been through, the truth about what is coming, and the truth about why none of it was ever what it appeared to be. Do not move. Stay right here, because what is about to be revealed is going to change the way you see every single thing that has ever happened in your life. I am speaking to you right now, not around you, not near you, but directly to you, the chosen one who has spent a significant portion of their life feeling like they were operating with incomplete information, like everyone else seemed to understand something about how the world worked that you had never quite been told. Like there was a conversation that happened before you arrived, a set of instructions that was given to everyone except you, a map that was distributed to all the other travelers, but somehow you began your journey without one. That feeling was not paranoia. It was not insecurity. It was something real that you were sensing in your spirit, because there have been things hidden from you. And today, right now, in this moment, God has decided that the hiding is finished. Let me start with the first thing He wants you to know. The confusion you have carried about your own identity was not an accident of your upbringing or a failure of your own self-awareness. It was strategic. There are forces that understood what was inside you long before you did. And those forces knew that if you ever fully came into the knowledge of who you are and what you carry, nothing they had built against you would survive the encounter. So the confusion was planted, the self-doubt was seeded. The voices that told you that you were ordinary, that you were too much, that you were not enough, that you did not belong, that your dreams were too large and your gifts were imagined, those voices had an agenda. They were not random. They were targeted, because you were targeted. Not for destruction, though that was the intention behind them, but because you were targeted for a purpose so significant that the enemy committed real resources to making sure you never discovered it. Type amen if you have ever felt like you were fighting something you could not fully see. Here is what was hidden from you about your past. Every moment that felt like failure was actually a formation. Every season that felt like God had forgotten you was actually a season where He was doing the most precise and delicate work of your entire story. You could not see it because formation does not look the way we expect it to. We expect growth to feel like expansion, like things opening up and moving forward and increasing in clarity. But the deepest formation, the kind that produces a person capable of carrying a truly significant assignment, happens in the places of contraction, in the tight spaces, in the dark seasons, in the moments where you were pressed on every side and could not find room to breathe, let alone room to see what God was doing. In those moments, while you were struggling to understand why, while you were praying prayers that seemed to hit the ceiling and fall back down, while you were watching other people move forward and wondering when your turn would come, God was not absent. He was closer in those moments than He has ever been in any moment of easy blessing. He was right there in the compression, doing something that cannot be done any other way. He was building the interior of a person. He was constructing the deep architecture of your character, your faith, your capacity, your resilience, your wisdom, things that cannot be purchased or downloaded or learned in a classroom, things that only come through the kind of fire that most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid. Type 111 if you know God was doing something in your hardest seasons that you are only beginning to understand. Now let me tell you what was hidden from you about the people who came and went in your life. Not all of them, but the significant ones, the ones who left marks, the ones whose absence or presence shaped you in ways you are still discovering. What was hidden from you is this. Some of those people were sent, not by God, though He allowed their entry and used their presence for His purposes. Some of them were sent by the opposition to access you at specific vulnerable points, to deliver specific messages at specific moments when you were most susceptible to receiving them as truth. The rejection that came at the exact moment your faith was weakest was not coincidence. The betrayal that arrived right when you were on the verge of a breakthrough was not random. The abandonment that happened precisely when you needed someone most was not an accident of poor timing. These were targeted moments, designed to install specific beliefs about yourself that would limit your movement going forward. Beliefs like, I am not worthy of consistent love. Beliefs like, when things are going well, something always comes to destroy it. Beliefs like my trust always leads to betrayal. Beliefs like I am too much for people to stay. These beliefs were installed through experiences that felt personal, but were actually spiritual. And what God is revealing to you today is that those beliefs are not truth. They are not conclusions drawn from the evidence of your life. They are lies that were placed in you through manufactured experiences, and today He is dismantling them one by one. Type yes if you have been carrying a belief about yourself that was installed by pain rather than built by truth. The first belief He is dismantling right now is the belief that you are too much. You were told this in ways both explicit and subtle. You were taught to apologize for the intensity of your emotions. You were conditioned to shrink the size of your dreams so that others would be more comfortable in your presence. You learned to dim the light of your personality in rooms where your full brightness made others uncomfortable. And somewhere along the way, the message that you were too much was absorbed so deeply that you started delivering it to yourself before anyone else had a chance to. You started apologizing for your existence before anyone asked you to. You started making yourself smaller in rooms where your full size was actually exactly what was needed. God is telling you today that you are not too much. You are precisely much. The exact amount, the precise size, the right intensity, the appropriate depth, not for every room, not for every person, not for every season, but for the rooms and the people and the seasons that God designed you for. You are not a single degree too much. You are exactly what is required. And the fact that certain environments could not contain you was never an indictment of your size. It was evidence that those environments were not your assignment. You were not made to fit in every room. You were made to transform specific ones. And you cannot transform a room by shrinking to match its current dimensions. Type I am not too much if you receive this truth right now. The second thing that was hidden from you is the truth about why you were chosen, because you have wondered about this. In the quiet moments, in the honest moments, you have asked the question, why me? Not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of genuine uncertainty. Because from the inside, looking at yourself through the lens of everything you know about your failures and your doubts and your moments of weakness and the times you fell short of your own standards, it has been hard to understand why God would look at you and see someone worth choosing for anything significant. Here is what was hidden. God did not choose you because of your perfection. He did not choose you because of your track record. He did not choose you because you had demonstrated a consistent ability to get everything right. He chose you because of what He placed inside you before you had any say in the matter. He chose you based on what He designed, not based on what you have managed to produce under imperfect conditions. The choosing happened before the falling, before the failures, before the moments of doubt, before every season that made you question your own qualifications. The choosing was first. Everything else came after. And nothing that came after has ever had the power to undo what was decided first. Take a moment and like this video because someone needs this revelation today and your support helps it reach them. The choosing was first. Let that land before your worst moment, before your greatest mistake, before the relationship that fell apart and the opportunity that slipped through your hands and the season where you wondered if you were even hearing God correctly. Before all of it, the choosing was already done. You were already His. You were already designated. You were already set apart for something that was not going to be undone by your imperfect journey toward it. And what has been hidden from you is the permanence of that choosing. How impossible it is to unchoose someone that God has decided to use. How futile every attack against your destiny has been and will be. How settled the outcome already is, even while the process is still unfolding. Type chosen if you receive the truth that God chose you before you earned it. The third hidden thing I want to reveal to you today is the truth about the warfare you have experienced, because you have known in your spirit that you have been in a fight, not just the ordinary battles of life that everyone faces, something more targeted, something more persistent, something that seemed to know exactly where to hit you and when, something that seemed to follow you from season to season with a specific agenda. That knowing was correct. You have been in real warfare, the kind that targets specific people for specific reasons. But here is what was hidden from you about that warfare. The intensity of the attack is directly proportional to the significance of the assignment. The enemy does not deploy his strongest opposition against ordinary lives living ordinary purposes. He reserves his most aggressive, most persistent, most personal attacks for the assignments that would do the most damage to his kingdom if they were fully realized. The fact that your battle has been as intense as it has been is not evidence that you are losing. It is evidence that what God has placed inside you and what God has planned for your life is significant enough to be worth fighting against. You have been under heavy attack because you carry a heavy assignment. And that assignment, the one that warranted all of this opposition, is about to be fully revealed to you. Type warrior if you know you have been in a real battle and you are still standing. Let me tell you one more hidden truth before we go into part 2. And this one is perhaps the most personal of all. There have been moments in your journey where you did not feel like a chosen one, moments where you felt like the most unchosen person in every room. Moments where the distance between the label chosen and the reality of your experience was so vast that the word felt almost cruel in its contrast to what you were actually living. You felt abandoned when chosen ones are supposed to be covered. You felt confused when chosen ones are supposed to have clarity. You felt broken when chosen ones are supposed to be strong. And in those moments, the hidden question was always the same. Did I misunderstand? Am I actually who I thought I was? Did God change his mind about me? Here is the answer that has been hidden from you. In every single one of those moments, you were more chosen than you had ever been. Because the choosing is not most visible in the moments of easy blessing. The choosing is most visible in the moments of surviving what should have destroyed you, in the moments of getting back up when everything said stay down, in the moments of holding on to faith with the very last thread of it when everything visible was telling you to let go. Those moments were not evidence of God's absence. They were the fullest expression of his presence. He was never more with you than when you felt most alone. He was never more active in your story than when everything appeared to be falling apart. He was never more committed to your outcome than in the seasons when the outcome looked most impossible. Stay with me in part 2 because what God is about to reveal next is the part that has been hidden the longest. The truth about what is coming, the truth about what this season is actually opening, and the truth about who you are about to become when the full revelation of everything God has been doing finally arrives in your life. Welcome back. If you are in part 2, something happened in part 1 that you needed. Something landed. Something confirmed what your spirit already knew but had not yet heard spoken out loud with this kind of clarity. In part 1, God revealed the truth about your past, about the hidden agenda behind the confusion of your identity, about the permanence of your choosing, about the meaning of the warfare you have been through. In this part, he is going to reveal what is coming. And I want you to be prepared not just to hear it, but to receive it. Because there is a difference between hearing truth and allowing it to actually land in the place where it changes something. So as we begin part 2, I want you to take one breath. Release the weight of everything you have been carrying into the hands of the God who already has it, and open yourself to receive what he is about to show you. Type open if you are ready to fully receive what God is revealing. The first thing God wants to reveal about what is coming is this: the season of hiddenness is ending. And I do not mean that small things are going to start becoming visible. I mean that the full expression of who you are, the version of you that has been forming in the fire, the version that carries everything you have learned and survived and been given in the seasons of preparation, that version is about to step into full visibility. Not in a way that is uncomfortable or forced or that requires you to perform for an audience, but in the natural, organic, unmistakable way that happens when a person is walking in their full alignment with their purpose and their God. You will not need to announce it. You will not need to campaign for recognition. You will simply begin to show up fully, and the fullness of your showing up will be something that the people around you cannot ignore. This visibility is not about fame or attention in the way the world understands those things. It is about impact. It is about the weight of a life that is fully aligned, beginning to press against the world around it and produce change. It is about the words you speak carrying a clarity and an authority that they did not carry before. It is about the decisions you make having a precision that reflects the wisdom of everything you have been through. It is about the people who encounter you walking away from that encounter different in some way, even if they cannot fully articulate what shifted in the meeting. Type visible if you are ready to stop hiding and step into full expression. The second revelation about what is coming concerns the relationships in your life. God is doing a significant reorganization, and I want you to understand that this reorganization is not punishment. It is not evidence of failure or of something broken in you. It is the natural consequence of a person growing into a new dimension. When you expand, when you step into a new level of who you are, not everyone in your current circle has the capacity or the calling to move with you. Some connections that have felt permanent are going to begin to feel loose. Some relationships that once required significant energy to maintain are going to begin to feel like they are winding down in a way that you cannot stop, even when part of you wants to. Do not be afraid of this. Do not interpret it as loss. What God removes from your path in this season, He removes because it cannot survive the altitude of where He is taking you. It is not that those people are bad or that those connections did not matter. It is that the next chapter of your story requires a different configuration of people around you, people who can see what you carry and celebrate it rather than being threatened by it, people who are moving in the same direction and can serve as genuine companions on the road rather than weights that slow the journey, people who have their own depth, their own fire, their own story of having been through something and come out different, and who can therefore truly meet you where you are. Type let go if you are releasing what God is removing with trust rather than grief. The third hidden thing God is revealing about what is coming is the truth about your provision. Because many of you have been in a season of lack. Not just financial, though, for some of you that is very real and very pressing, but a lack of resources in the broader sense, a lack of the right connections, the right opportunities, the right timing, the right open doors. You have felt it as a kind of poverty of momentum where everything required 3 times the effort it should have and still produced half the results, where the breakthrough always seemed one step ahead of where you were, where you prayed and believed and did everything you knew to do and still found yourself in a place of not enough. Here is what was hidden about that season. The restriction was protective. I know that is hard to hear. But the resources that are about to come into your life, the connections, the opportunities, the provision, the open doors, they require a version of you that was not yet ready to steward them. If everything you are about to receive had arrived 2 years ago, in the version of you that existed then, it would have been wasted, not because you were not worthy, but because the interior architecture that is required to properly carry what is coming had not yet been built. God was not withholding from you. He was preserving you for the moment when what He released to you could actually do in your life what it was designed to do. That moment is now. The restriction is lifting. The provision is being released, and you are ready to receive it in a way that you simply were not before everything you have been through in the seasons that felt like wilderness. Type provision if you receive the truth that God's timing was always protection, not punishment. Now, I want to reveal something about your assignment that has been hidden perhaps the longest of all, because there is a specific work that you were designed to do in this world. Not a general idea of being good or being faithful or making a difference in some vague, unspecified way. A specific work, a particular contribution, a unique expression of what God placed inside you that no other person on this earth can duplicate because no other person on this earth is you. And this work, this specific assignment, has been forming in you through every single experience you have ever had. The joyful ones and the devastating ones, the seasons of abundance and the seasons of lack, the relationships that built you up and the ones that tore you down, the moments of clarity and the years of confusion. All of it has been raw material in the hands of a God who wastes nothing and uses everything. The assignment is close now, closer than it has ever been. And the signs of its arrival are going to be recognizable to you because they are going to feel like coming home. Like finally doing the thing you were always supposed to be doing. Like finally being in the room you were always supposed to be in. There is going to be a rightness to it that is unlike anything you have felt in the spaces that were not quite your fit. And when you feel that rightness, when that recognition arrives in your spirit, do not second guess it. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not defer to the voices that will tell you that you are not qualified or that it is too late or that someone else could do it better. That rightness is God confirming that you have arrived at the place He always intended for you. Type assignment if you are ready to step into the specific work God designed you for. I want to speak now to something that has been hidden about your prayers, the ones that seem to go unanswered, the ones you prayed in the dark with tears running down your face and silence coming back. the ones where you waited and waited and the heavens seemed made of stone. What was hidden from you is this: not one of those prayers was lost, not one of them bounced, not one of them went unheard. Every single prayer you have ever prayed in genuine faith, every cry that came from the real interior of your heart, every moment where you had nothing left but the name of God on your lips, every single one of those was received. And they are accumulating, they are building something in the Spirit that is now fully constructed and ready to be released into your natural life. The prayers you prayed years ago that you have almost forgotten, God has not forgotten them. The prayers you prayed for other people when you were barely holding yourself together, those prayers did not stop working because your season changed. The prayers you prayed about the things you most longed for and then stopped praying because hoping had become too heavy, those prayers are still active. Nothing was lost. Everything is being held. And what is coming into your life in this season is not just the answer to what you prayed most recently. It is the accumulated answer to everything you have ever brought before God in genuine faith. It is a harvest of prayer that spans your entire journey. Type every prayer. If you know that God heard you every time, even when you felt unheard, let me now tell you the final hidden truth, the one that perhaps matters most, because everything else I have said today, the truth about your past and your identity and your warfare and your assignment and your provision and your prayers, all of it rests on this foundation. God has never been disappointed in you, not once, not in your worst moment, not in your greatest failure. Not in the seasons where you walked away from him and did things you are not proud of. Not in the times you doubted him so completely that you could not even form a prayer. Not in the moments where you questioned his goodness or his presence or his care. In every single one of those moments, he was not disappointed. He was not surprised. He was not reconsidering. He was a father watching a child go through the process of becoming. And fathers who truly love their children do not see their child struggling and feel disappointment. They feel something much more complex. They feel the ache of watching someone they love go through difficulty. They would absorb themselves if they could. They feel the knowing that the difficulty, as hard as it is to watch, is producing something in their child that ease never could. They feel the hope that is specific and personal and unshakable, the hope of someone who can see the end from the beginning and knows with certainty that the story is going to be beautiful, even when the chapter being lived right now is the hardest one. That is how God has been watching you. Not with disappointment, with love, with knowing, with a certainty about your future that your own doubt could never shake, because his knowledge of you is not dependent on your performance. It is rooted in his design, and he designed you for something extraordinary. He designed you to reach this moment. He designed you to receive this revelation. He designed you to step out of this season of hiddenness and into the full light of everything he always intended for your life. Type I receive it. If you choose today to let God's truth about you replace every lie that was hidden in its place. Nothing that was hidden is hidden anymore. Not the truth about who you are. Not the truth about why you went through what you went through. Not the truth about what is coming. Not the truth about how God sees you and has always seen you. It is all in the open now. It is all available to you now. And the question that remains, the only question that matters, is what you are going to do with this revelation. Whether you are going to let it stay as words you heard in a video, or whether you are going to allow it to descend from your head into your spirit and become the new foundation on which you build everything that comes next. Build on this. Build on the truth that you are chosen and it is permanent. Build on the truth that your warfare was proportional to your assignment and the assignment is great. Build on the truth that every prayer was heard and the harvest is coming. Build on the truth that God has never been disappointed in you and never will be. Build on the truth that what is hidden is now revealed, and the revealing is the beginning of the best season of your entire life. You are the chosen one. It was always true, and now you know it. Walk in it. It is time. Type, I know who I am, if you receive the full revelation of everything God spoke today. God sees you. He loves you. And the best of what he has for you is not behind you. It has never been more directly in front of you than it is right now. Step toward it. Nothing is hidden anymore.